Hey everyone, I'm Emma Mitchell. I'm an energy healing guide. Today I'm here with my boyfriend Tim because we had some interesting experiences last week, which were not so great, but I was excited because I said now I can bring you on here. So thanks Tim for being with me today.
My pleasure.
So let's just talk about what happened last week because a lot of it affected you, but there were some things that I experienced as well. So to start with, last week we went up to a place called Sweetwater Lake up near where we live in Colorado, and it's a really beautiful place. We've been there a bunch. We've hiked up there. I've always felt like the energy is really strong and positive, and lots of Native American spirits that I've experienced there. But we tried to camp and we had a series of unfortunate things happen to us, including getting our camper stuck and then having to have a tow truck come up and help with that. So the night that we were trying to camp, which was the second night because we had to get it unstuck the first night, while we were trying to set up, or you were trying to troubleshoot some things, I felt very strongly like there was a presence with us. I was hearing voices, but it was like very faint in the woods, and I felt like something was watching us. At one point I was in my Jeep, and all of a sudden I felt like I looked down and there was maybe some sort of shadow or something, but I just got really scared. And then when I was unhooking one of our dogs from her leash, I heard this really weird, it was like a whimpering noise, but it wasn't her. It was very strange. So I told you about that and then that night, and you said you didn't witness it. And unfortunately, we had so many issues, we couldn't even stay there, which I was saying, gosh, is this place cursed or something? So then the next day, you were up there by yourself in the daylight. So tell everyone what happened there.
So I was trying to troubleshoot some things and get the camper back to a functional level, and a lot of that required being underneath the camper. So I spent a lot of time under the camper by myself, turning a wrench and a socket wrench, and multiple times over and over again I felt like there were people nearby, and a few times I also heard what I thought was people having a conversation and walking footsteps on the gravel road. But when I looked up, there was no one to be found. Every single time it was just me and the wind and the trees, but the wind and trees, they don't make talking and footsteps and gravel noises. So it was very, very weird.
Yeah, and I did hear that too. Like it felt like there were footsteps coming when we were out there in the dark that one night, and it was just really eerie. And afterwards, that first night, it was the second night, we came home after I was experiencing all that stuff, and I cleared your energy, I cleared my energy, I cleared the dog's energy. There were like spirits or entities attached to us from that space, and there was even one in my Jeep that had decided it wanted to make a home in there, so I had to clear that the next morning. But I know that we both just felt really heavy after we left there. I was having some weird dreams, and then when we went back up to help you out, me and some friends, the wind, it was very strange. It felt like at the end when we were almost ready to go, that wind like gusted so hard that, and you can explain this away of course, but the gust of wind felt like it was like, get the hell out of here. Like it was like one final push. But we've never had as many issues as we had up there. It felt like something was actively trying to tell us to get out.
Yep.
And I spoke with my friend about this who lives close to there, and she said, yeah, it always does feel like something's trying to push people out, that it doesn't want people there. When I psychically looked into this, the image or the message I got was that this was a Native American man that was up there and was so angry, somehow he passed away and turned into, and don't ask me how this works, but turned into some sort of angry shadow figure that has more powers than a spirit, like a regular ghost. But who knows? I don't know. But the whole experience was so weird, and it really was not fun.
Sure was.
And then, so we thought, okay, that's behind us now. We went over to Colorado Springs that same day. So Tuesday evening, we didn't get in until like 12:30 at night. And then a series of more terrible things happened. So we were staying in this hotel called the Antlers, and if you're familiar with Colorado Springs, you will know that it's kind of pegged as this luxury historic hotel. And I used to live there, so I would go to the Antlers for a lot of events and things and always thought, wow, this is super nice, but I'd never stayed in there. So Tim had found us some hotel rooms and thought, well, this will be good for a couple days. As soon as we got into the hotel, we had so many issues just even getting in there.
Yeah.
But once we got into our room, I instantly felt heaviness, like I was going to throw up. There's like a pressure in my head, which I knew meant there were ghosts in there, and I could sense them. So I did my best to clear out the space, but unfortunately, when I'm tired, when I'm worn out, which I had been because for 3 nights we hadn't gotten to sleep till like 1, 2 in the morning. And even that night, right, like we hadn't gotten into the hotel until then. I try to clear spaces out, but I'm so exhausted and fatigued, I can only do so much. So that night I was having lots of weird dreams and felt like something was in the room with us. But you immediately started having all sorts of problems. So you can tell your story now.
Well, I'm not really sure what to tell.
Well, the first night, what did you have dreams? Well, okay, let me just say first, your sleeping is not great. So a lot of times you toss and turn before you can fall asleep. Every single night we were there, you conked out like immediately, like as soon as you hit the pillow, which I thought was strange. So the first night you were having all sorts of weird dreams, but you don't really remember what they were, except that you told me you were a world-class sewer in your dreams.
Yeah, whatever that means.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure.
I don't know either.
At the time, I knew exactly what it meant, but that was gone very quickly.
Well, that's dreams sometimes.
Yeah.
But then do you remember what happened the next day? Like you said you could not get enough sleep. No, you don't remember. Why don't you talk about how you felt that first day we were in the Springs?
I can't recall one day from the other. It was a trip. I don't know how to break it down by day.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll say what I remember then, which is that first day I had some things I had to go to or got to go to, and I came back at like around 1 o'clock and you were still sleeping.
Okay.
And you were telling me you felt bad, but you couldn't really describe how you were feeling. Do you think you could describe it now?
No. I mean, just completely exhausted. I don't know.
Just exhausted.
I guess so. Yeah. Completely just. I don't know what the words would be. That's why I couldn't describe it at the time either.
Oh. Well, from what I recall, you were very lethargic, but you didn't want to do anything. You said you had a headache, you felt nauseated, and you were acting kind of strange to me. Like you kept wanting to go back to sleep, like you couldn't get up. And then we went out that night and to a friend's, and that was fine. Like everything was fine. You were starting to feel better. You seemed better.
Yeah.
But then we got back and I think I felt a little bit better because I thought I'd cleared that room a little bit more. And then you, again, just conked right out. And that was the night that you had some really bad dreams. Do you remember those dreams?
I mean, I remember there were a lot of like people eating people dreams, if that's what you're talking about. I think that's what it was.
Didn't you say there's something about faking your own death too?
Yeah, I don't know. I still don't know what that actually meant, or how that worked. But
do you remember anything from it?
just some images of I don't know.
Okay, this is great. This
well,
is
I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, well, all right. So, so you had told me you had some dreams about faking your own death, and then other people faking their own death, and something about being at the edge of the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'm not sure what that actually was. It kind of looked like New Jersey.
Oh my god. Okay, great, nice. So all right, well, the next morning, again, you could barely get up, and I remember you telling me, this is so weird, I slept all night, but I couldn't move. Like, you were saying, like, you just wanted to go back to sleep because you were so tired.
Yeah, whatever it was keeping my mind so active that I never actually slept, is the way I would describe it. And so even though I was on the outside sleeping, internally, psychologically, my brain was on overdrive, dealing with all of the stuff that was being thrown at it. And so when I woke up the next morning, it was like I'd been going for 24 hours straight.
Yeah. And again, you had a headache, and you just felt just really sick.
Yeah.
So I think it was that same day that you all of a sudden were like, I gotta get out of this room. I can't be here anymore. We gotta get a different hotel room. This is insane. I don't know why I feel this way.
Yeah.
And you were just like kind of losing it a little bit. Was your eyesight suffering too? I thought you said you couldn't see very well or something.
Yeah, I mean, my eyes definitely were really bothering me the whole time we were there.
Which could just be dry eye, but yeah. Well, I know that same night, so that was Thursday night because we left Friday. We were well, the other thing about this Antlers Hotel is what I got about, you know, just walking around, is there's so many ghosts in there, like hundreds and hundreds of ghosts. And that second night, I was able to connect with, after you had the dream about people faking their death, I had this very strong image of a man in a bowler hat, like 1920s, 1930s, 40s style. And so I went and I spoke with these spirits, and so I saw like 3 or 4 of them standing in front of where Tim was sleeping. And mind you, I really didn't have a hard time sleeping that second night, but I still didn't feel like I got a lot of rest, but nothing was bothering me like it was bothering him. And so when I spoke with these spirits, and one of them was this bowler hat guy, and he said, yeah, I was kind of feeding him this weird dream about faking death. I don't know. And then I spoke with this other woman who she appeared to me in petticoats, and I spoke with her, and she told me this whole long story about her life, and they said, we just want people to hear our story. And I said, I don't have time. I don't have time to listen to the stories of how many ghosts are in this hotel. But the energy in there just felt really strong. And I was excited because, unfortunately for Tim, he was struggling. But I was like, wow, he can sense the pressure changes like I'm sensing all of a sudden. Because for years I've been trying to get him to sense it or feel it. And all of a sudden he was starting to sense it. He was starting to notice, like, this area feels stronger than this area. And so I was, pretty happy that he was finally starting to feel the things I feel, which is nausea or pressure in the head or something trying to, like, speak through you, through your throat. So
yeah, thanks a lot.
I didn't do it to you. It just was interesting. But there were parts where I was like, you would say, oh, I suddenly feel this way. And I would say, well, that's exactly how I feel. There's so many spirits in this specific area. So, I did think I cleared those ghosts out of the room, and they moved on. They they went somewhere else in the hotel, and I felt good about it. But then Thursday night, before we went to sleep, I noticed that there was this really dark presence next to where he was sleeping. And like I said, I was exhausted. I mean, no excuse. I should have been able to do this or clear this better, but sometimes I just don't have my abilities as well because I'm exhausted or I'm really drained. And so I did notice this dark spirit next to his side of the bed, and it had this armor on that reminded me of a samurai's armor. So it was very, rigid, and, just look up a samurai's armor, but it had like this horned, I don't know if it was a hat or what, and it was holding an axe and a spear, but the spear had several tips on it. So I thought, okay, let me try and clear this thing out of here because this thing's obviously bad. I tried to clear it out, and I, worked with the high-level beings that I usually do, and I thought I cleared it, but there seemed to be some sort of lingering shadow there. So I was hopeful that it would stop bothering Tim, but instead you had the worst night, which was, do you want to explain? That was the people eating.
Yeah, there was a whole bunch of series of dreams that all felt like they were continuations of dreams that I've had in the past that I have no recollection of, which is pretty weird to begin with, but they seem to just get progressively worse and worse with each one involving either, I think the first one was finding out that I was going to be the meal of some, I wouldn't say people eating people, it was more
Monsters. Or...
it was, I want to say it was demons is what I would say. It was, it was like each level seemed to be a little bit more, a little deeper into what I would call hell.
Yeah, that sounded like some sort of bad dimension of, Yeah. So that morning I woke up at like 6:30, and I didn't get great sleep that night either, but I wasn't having dreams like that. And you every night were like thrashing around, fall asleep right away, but thrashing, like fighting something off, which kept me up. I kept waking up to that. And that morning you could barely focus. I don't even know how to describe it. I was scared. I thought, am I going to have to take him to the emergency room? I thought it the night before too, because you were like, but you wouldn't tell me what was wrong. And you were acting very strange, like something was hurting you, or you were hurting. I couldn't tell what was going on. But that morning I even said, do I need to take you to the urgent care? Because you were acting so strange. And so I had asked my spirit guides, if we get out of this room, is he going to feel better? And the answer was yes, sort of, but you just got to get out of here. So once I was like, okay, get up right now, we're leaving, just pack your stuff, you could barely even pack, you could barely move. It was so weird. Like, I was terrified that something was happening to you. And I kept asking, what's wrong? And you couldn't tell me, but you kept making this like you were gonna throw up, and it was very, very strange. And can you describe anything else beyond that?
No, I mean, it was just, my head hurt uncontrollably. My vision was in and out and burning. I was nauseous. I was dizzy. I was extremely weak. The thought of really any sort of food made me feel even worse. And everything smelled in a way that made me want to throw up. It was awful.
Yeah, I could barely get you out of that room too. Well, and the other thing I forgot to mention is in our room, beyond that, it just was not very nice for how much it cost, I thought. It was, the sinks were clogging up the whole time. The showers were terrible. The toilet clogged. Like, it just felt like everything was kind of run down, but it also felt like there was more to it.
Yeah.
So when I was looking, well, I'll just say, when we were leaving the hotel, when we were walking down the hallway, all of a sudden I got this very scared feeling, this paranoia, and felt that something was following us. Like, it was chasing us down the hallway, which scared me too. And so when we finally got, down and we got into my Jeep and I was driving us home, Tim passed out immediately, and you slept like for
All the way
like 2
back, yeah.
hours or something.
Yeah.
And when we finally got to Buena Vista, which is, I don't know, 2 hours from our house or an hour and a half from our home, so we'd been driving for a while, you finally were feeling better. Like you were feeling like a person, you hadn't had any nightmares,
Mm-hmm.
and you were a little bit better. When we got home though, I thought this was interesting and scary. We were talking about what had happened, and what I had seen was that this being was, like I was saying, this description of this entity, but not only was it in our room, but I was seeing it go down, all the way down into every single floor of the hotel. And what I saw under the hotel was a bunch of gravestones, like it was an Indian burial ground or something, and nobody obviously cared when they built this hotel. And this is the third iteration of this hotel. So I was seeing this entity is on every single floor in the corner. So we were in room 1027. So for every floor up and below us, this entity somehow was in this space, and very much getting the vision, the understanding that it was sucking out your energy,
Mm-hmm.
like feeding off of your energy. So when we got home, I got a rock and I cleared your energy. I cleared it off of you, and you described what you noticed when I was doing that.
Well, it's just like black tar coming off me.
And you could see it
Mm-hmm.
in your mind's eye.
Yep.
Yeah, and you could feel it.
Yep.
And then the dang thing came over and hopped onto me.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you could sense that it went right into my back.
Yep. Yep. I could.
Yeah. So it took me like 10 more minutes to clear my own energy and get that thing off of me. But before I cleared your energy and then mine, we were talking about this, and I was feeling like something was spying on us. Like I got this feeling like something's listening to us talk about this, so we got to clear our energy right away.
Yep.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
It was. It really was.
So now I feel like you have more of an understanding of the importance of getting energy clearings. And,
Yeah, certainly. Yeah.
And now you sort of understand spirits and ghosts and all of that stuff.
I don't know how much understanding I have, but yeah, it's a real thing.
Yeah. Well, and I was saying, how lucky are we that I know how to do this, because
Mhm.
everybody else who has stayed in that room probably has an issue now.
Yeah. Well, I hope not. But
Yeah, I don't know. But it was crazy because, we were putting up the protective bubbles, we were doing all the things, but
Mhm.
I think just because we were so exhausted when we got there, that was, it just kind of latched
Enough.
right onto you.
Yeah, enough to let it in, I guess. Yeah.
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 Well, do you have any other ghost stories you want to tell? Actually, should we tell the story about the doorbell?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you tell it. It's your story. I was there, but it's
You
your
were here.
story. Yeah.
Well, okay, so pretty much all the story is that one night our doorbell started going off, and it's like this electronic doorbell that you can see the video in it, and it started going off, and it was dark outside, and you can I hate it, but you can see through our window because it's glass, or see through the door window, this glass there. And I didn't see anybody there, but I thought, well, it's like 9 p.m. I don't want to deal with anybody right now. That's weird. So I was like standing in the hallway staring at the door. Finally, I got you to go over to the door, and you opened it up.
Yeah, there's nobody there.
And there was nobody there, but it's definitely one of those that you have to push and push.
Oh, yeah.
Like you can't,
Yeah.
It's not like a thing you can just push off.
No, you had to be there and actually press it.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I looked into it like remotely because Tim said to me, "This is what happens when you do all these house clearings. You bring weird stuff home."
Yeah.
And I looked into it psychically, and what I saw was this female spirit who was frantically trying to get help, trying to get into people's homes, ringing our doorbell because she was associated with some vehicle that was on our street. And I don't know if this person did this to her or what, but the vision I had was that she was murdered, and she was trying to get help, in this cycle, this loop of trying to get help to get out of the situation, which obviously she did not. So I was able to send down angels and get her some help to move on. But the sense I got was she was frantically trying to get inside somewhere. But it had nothing to do with me in my house clearings. It was something very strange. But I did recently clear somebody's house too that I was very sad, but they had purchased this home from somebody else, and the man who lived in that home before them had committed suicide in the backyard. And she had contacted me to help clear her home. She said that she had all these medical mysteries and some other weird stuff going on there. And when I looked into it, I did see that man actually was in a loop of when he killed himself in the backyard, just a loop of it. And it was really, really sad. And I told the homeowner that, and she said, yeah, I had a feeling that that's what was going on. So I was able to help him move on and clear the rest of her house. And she was so happy that I was able to do that for him, because I guess he was a very nice person. But yeah, I guess, learning every day that some tragic stuff, people are in loops of that kind of thing. So, yeah, it's kind of sad.
It really is.
So, okay, well, are there any other stories you want to tell?
I don't think so. I can't recall any.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for telling that story.
Oh,
I was so excited. I said, well, now you get to come on here and tell your story. I've been trying to get him to come on here for a while.
She has. That's true.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, maybe more stories will happen.
Well, I'll keep you posted.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everyone. And I hope that you enjoyed these stories, and hope that you have a great rest of your day.